Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Holy Huddle. I am so glad to have you. Today, I want to touch on a super important topic that kind of got brought up to me this week. I'm not gonna lie, this week, I don't like to do a topic where I'm just like, I'm just gonna pick something random and talk about it. Like, I really want to try for it to be God led. So I really take my time and I really try to figure out what God's telling me to do. And this week it took me a while. Like I was like, God, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I have no clue. And I finally figured out what he wanted me to talk about. And it's a little personal, but like I said, I'm an open book and I'm willing to put my experiences out there in order to help anyone else who might be going through it. So I want to talk about generational curses, which are a very real thing. And to be honest, it took me a while to understand what they were and how they work and all that stuff. I didn't even know that was possible, that something that my great grandparents did that affects me. And a generational curse that has been passed down in my family has been alcohol. So my grandpa started with, it probably started more than my grandpa, but I just don't know. What I know is it started with my grandparents. Both of my grandparents, actually. Both of my grandpas. Both my grandpas were very heavy drinkers. They just had, long days out working in the my grandpa worked in the mines in Mexico. He worked in the mines, so it was like life-threatening working in the mines back then. So I guess he just relied on alcohol after a hard day's work. I don't know. So he would always be drunk and just talking out of saying rude things to my mom and to all of my uncles and aunts and to my grandma, and he was just very disrespectful at that to my mom's family. And it was like that for a lot of his life until the very end. He stopped drinking the last 20 years of his life, but my mom had a rough childhood for sure. And it was so rough on her that my mom nor my dad drink alcohol. Nothing. They don't, because it was just really hard on them. They were they've seen firsthand what alcohol does, so they ran far away from that. But my uncle on my mom's side, it passed down to him. He actually, he was, I think, 24, 25. He was in a car accident that almost took his life due to drinking. He was out at a party and he was extremely drunk, and this is all in Mexico, and he decided to drive home. And by the end of the night, his car had flipped over 5 times, and to this day, he has an amputated leg. He almost did not make it. He almost died from that car crash. And in my life, personally, it has caused lots of problems. I wouldn't say I ever was an alcoholic or anything like that. It was never that I'm like, oh my God, I would wake up at night, take a shot. No, it's nothing like that. It was more of it just caused problems. In high school, my parents were so against it that they were so no alcohol in my house, nothing. We're not doing it. And obviously me growing up as a teenager and going to high school, obviously what do? We go throw parties, get drunk. And for me, that was normal, right? That's what teenagers do. And I didn't understand why they were so strict on me and da 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 da. And I would go out with my friends, get lit. Beer bonging vodka, like, oh my gosh, we were a mess, like a whole mess. We were like 15 years old getting drunk. Like, it was not okay. Like, I'm laughing now because it's like, bruh, but it was not funny, you know, thinking about it. If I have, but if I have a child, see, I know how my parents feel now, so. Yeah, I would just like go out and get drunk, go to parties, you know, went off to college. You know, it was hard for me in college. I used alcohol as an excuse to not feel. And I would just pretty much use it as liquid courage. I would just so I could literally be a new person and be who I wanted to be and act how I wanted to act. And that obviously did not turn out good, and that turned out with lots of consequences. I allowed people in my life who should not have been in my life, and I allowed myself to be in situations that I should not have been in. And my standards lowered. It was just not good. And it was just a dark time for me, just because I literally use alcohol as an excuse to not be me and to not feel. I would just like, I'd be a new person once I was drunk, and it's fine. Then I'd wake up and not really know what happened anyway, so it's fine. And that is a huge reason as to why I started the Holy Huddle. Is I don't ever want girls to feel like, I want to help girls out of that I had to experience, where you have to go to something like alcohol or something to mask yourself, you know? And if I can help anyone get over that, that's like, if I can even help one girl, that's enough for me. Not to mention, growing up, I have two DUIs. Yeah, it's embarrassing, not gonna lie. It's like, ugh. And it's not, don't get me wrong, don't think I'm like over here getting belligerent drunk and I'm driving. No, it was never that. I'm not dumb. But I would have some drinks and I would drive home. I'm not like, I'm sure I would be tipsy driving home. And who knows, I probably would have been, I was pretty lit sometimes driving home, I'm not even gonna lie. Never to the point of where I'm like, you know, driving. No, I would never. But I'm sure there's been times where I was like lit and driving home. Both times, one I was speeding and I got pulled over and they smelled wine on my breath. And the other, and the other one, so embarrassing. I was driving my Hummer and I was leaving my friend's house and I hit a car. And I had been like drinking and they came over because I hit the car and they smelled it on my breath. So like I said, just issues. My whole life I've had issues, like my whole youth had issues with my parents, and then the DUIs and just like college stuff. And then later into my adult life, lots of times I would find myself not knowing my limits. So I would go out and I'd want to be like, you know, social or whatever, but like, I don't know my own limits. I if I don't know why, and it didn't click, like, Michelle, you've had 5 drinks, you should probably stop. I'm in the moment while I'm out, I don't think about it. I didn't think about it, and I would just keep drinking and then I'd just be lit. Thank God I got a handle. I literally try not to drink like seriously, if you're my friends, you know, like I'm like two, that's it. Like I'm not doing, that's it, two, that's it, that's my max, you know. Just because I like that's embarrassing to me that I like, it's such a power over me that like I have to physically be like only 2 drinks, you know, or else like I don't want to get drunk, you know. And it's like embarrassing. Like I'm a grown ass woman. Like I'm a grown ass woman, and I can't freaking be like, okay, 2 drinks, like I'm good. Like I have to literally be conscious of it and be like only 2 drinks and that's it, you know. But you know, I'm growing at it, and I don't pretend to be perfect at all. Like this is why I started this channel, because I don't want to be like, I'm the perfect girl and I'm doing this. No, like just like everyone else, I'm imperfect and I'm struggling with things still, and I'm working things out still. And you know, this is something I'm being really vulnerable in. It's fine. Everyone's working on something. And yeah, so now, you know, I have realized that it was a generational curse for me. And a big, huge reason why I'm putting a stop to this is because I know all the messy crap I've gone through in my life. And I refuse to let my son or daughter go through the crap that I went through and have to suffer the things that I've suffered. And that's not the life that I want for my son or daughter. Like, I always tell Blake, like, God, please don't let me have a girl just because I was a girl. And it's just like, no, like, I don't want to have a bad girl. Like, you know, like, I don't think I was a bad child, but like, you know, like it's, I don't know. I made lots of mistakes growing up, and, you know, I've learned from them, and I'm growing each and every day. And it's just, you know, like I said, I am putting a stop to this, to alcohol, and like abusing alcohol. That's a great term, because there's no really alcoholism, but abusing alcohol, I'm putting a stop to it from me. It's done here. It's done. Ain't no, none of my kids and their kids, no. That's a wrap. Done. No, like I'm handling it, like I'm making it a mission that this ends with me, and that's that. So that's why, like, I'll drink a glass here at home, but I don't, like, if I go out, you know, I'm like literally like 2 max, and that's it. My friends know, Blake knows, like, so I'm just really making a conscious effort. And, you know, I'm proud of myself, and just, I really do want this to just end with me. So, I hope that helps someone. So yeah, if you see any toxic patterns playing out in your life that you've seen in your mom or dad or in your grandparents, that's probably a sign of a generational curse. So I would do your best to figure it out. Like, okay, pinpoint it. This is what's up. Realize you have to admit you have an issue. That's the first thing. And then make a plan to cut it out. Make a plan to move forward. Make a plan to stop. Make a plan that this curse is going to stop with you, and that's that. This is not going to your kids. It's not going to your grandkids. This is done. So, yes. Thanks for listening to another episode, and I'll see you guys next week.